Well, that's fine.
Mech warrior training complete.
Waiting for orders.
Let's see, glitch. She could get multi-target. Not sure I want it though. Ah, dude, we need sensor lock. No, that's 25,000. She can get anything except for this one, which gives her more melee damage. We're gonna wait.
Commander.
Medusa. You're pretty good in piloting. What does that do? You could be super mobile. Let's give you that.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Yeah, I'll be it for now. What about you, Glitch? No, that's me. Wait, oh, that wasn't me. Wait. No, yeah, that was me.
Yes.
Good to go.
I haven't done her yet. Okay. She already has that skill. So I could give her more tactics, which would give her what? Nothing? Wait, eventually she gets what again? Sensor lock?
Waiting for orders.
Okay, bro. You're gonna need sensor lock. Like, we need that. Confirm.
Training complete.
Okay, mechs. Bays. Take a look at that for a second. So, Bay 1, we got the Blackjack, the Vindicator, the Shadow Hawk, Spider, the Locust. What is a Locust? It's a light. Firepower is very low, has very high movement. We'll repair you. Yeah. I don't have a choice right now. What can I refit on you, man? Whoa! Dude, that's so much info! Holy shit! I got 0 tons remaining on this one. I can't do much. Okay, that's like a medium Gatling gun in your right arm. Another one in your left arm. So it's 15 damage. Max. Got a medium laser on your torso. And a bunch of ammo. Tonnage is 5. See, because the thing is, these robots have very high heat efficiency. So if I were to remove these guns, and instead, oh, that does nothing. Whoa. Wow. Okay, so we're basically stuck with this. There's not much we can do about this for a second there. Locust. The basic Locust one is one big advantage, speed. It's not meant to put up much of a fight, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a mech that goes further and is harder to hit. Let's go back to the barrack for a second. Who has sensor lock right now?
Waiting on you, Commander.
Only Decker.
Good to go.
Medusa doesn't. We have to wait almost a month for him to be back. Shit. If I recruit somebody that has like tactic 3 for example, it's not enough, right? Probably doesn't start with like unspent XP either. No, see, it's not enough. It would bring us here and we need to be there. So there's not much we can do except just wait. I mean, we don't have a choice. Yang?
Need something?
I want an assessment on the Leopard. How much trouble are we in? Don't know. I mean, we're doing okay for the moment, but give it a few months, maybe a year. You know how it goes. Eventually, everything falls apart. Maybe our drive system will give out. Maybe some debris will perforate the hull. Who knows? But on that day, we're going to need to be able to cover our repair costs. And if we can't, well, that'll be that. Okay. Tell me a bit about yourself. How'd you wind up with this crew? That's a long story, boss. Shortest version I can give you, I signed on after I served my term in the Third Succession War, fighting for the Capellan Confederation. If you want to know more, you can ask whatever you want. Otherwise, let's get back to talking shop. Where are you from originally? Bryant in the Confederation. You may have heard of our claim to fame, the Crowley Lizard Cow. No? Well, trust me, they're delicious. An edible reptile indigenous to the planet Bryant. The meat of the Crowley lizard cow is considered a delicacy and it's one of Bryant's few planetary exports. Anyway, as the story goes, Bryant was a really nice place once. A tourist spot. Big with hikers and fishing enthusiasts. Pale blue skies, emerald green seas, and a booming agricultural business. You know, the works. I never knew it that way though. Stefan Amaris... As president of the Rimworld Republic, Stefan Amaris expanded the Republican army and placed Republican agents in key positions throughout the Star League. He fostered a close relationship with Richard Cameron while the First Lord was in his minority. When Cameron came of age, Amaris guided him toward policies that would move Alexander Kerensky's SLDF away from Terra and place Republican forces there instead. With these preparations in place, Stefan Amaris murdered Richard Cameron on December 27th, and declared himself First Lord, beginning the Amaris Civil War. Kerensky raised the Rimworld's Republic and returned to Terra to defeat Amaris forces and capture him. Stefan Amaris was executed by firing squad in 2779. His remains were donated to the medical school of the University of New Samarkand. Wow. I never knew that though. Stefan Amaris got it to a couple centuries before I was born, and well, that was that. Got to it. Oh shit. As the story goes, Bryant used to have these enormous orbital mirrors, storm inhibitors, they called them. The Star League put them in place when Amaris took the system in his civil war. He had his troops use them for target practice. Without those mirrors, Bryant reverted to its natural state, a miserable little ball of windblown dirt, actively hostile to human life. By the time I came along, the only places where people could live in relative safety were the planet's poles. Of course, you can't fit a planet's entire population into a handful of cities, and at its poles, there isn't enough space, no matter how far down you dig or how tall you build. A lot of people, mostly the poor, died in the early days. There's still a lot of overcrowding in Brian cities, even now. That's my childhood home in a nutshell. Way too many people jammed into a tiny claustrophobic space with nowhere to go but off-planet. I cleared out of there as fast as I could and never looked back. Gotta admit though, I do miss the taste of lizard cow. Tell me about your time in the military. Who'd you serve with? The 2nd St. Ives Lancers. A well-connected and well-financed regiment, the Lancers operated along the Capellan Confederation's rimward quarter, fending off pirates and conducting raids into the Free Worlds League. In 3025, its 3 battalions are allocated to the defense of St. Ives, Maladar, and St. Lawrence. 1st Battalion under Major Lane. We saw more action than most. The arm is a souvenir of my time in service. I lost the original back in 3010 on St. Lawrence. Oh, that's right, it's got a robot arm. I just noticed now. You know, when we first arrived in St. Lawrence, I loved the place. It's an agricultural world, sort of a breadbasket for the neighboring system. Green fields, rolling hills, you get the picture. We just walked out of hell on Kittery and the Federats, drove us out of 05 with our tails between our legs, so it looked like paradise to us. Previously under Capellan control in 3005, this inhospitable jungle world was conquered by the Federated Sons. A resistant movement kept the world a war zone for many years. In the 3020s, House Liao returned and waged war for a more permanent liberation. So far, it has succeeded only in creating lasting enmity between the defending 1st Kittery borderers and the invading forces of St. Ives' armored cavalry. And the Federats, a person living in or whose national origin is the Federated Sons, considered derogatory. Awesome. I'm against them too, so we're good. I remember kicking back in the mech bay, my feet propped up on an engine block, sipping on a snifter of ambergris vermouth. Ambergris vermouth is a red and usually found in tiny bottles in port shops. Getting larger bottles takes connection. Getting a crate of it, well, not a bad way to spend a sunny afternoon. Anyway, turned out the Federated Sons weren't done with us yet. We were barely a month into our deployment when they sent the Seti Hussars, or Seti Hussars, created by the Federated Sun in an effort to replicate a light horse-style regiment of the Star League era. The combination of mechs and mounted infantry was ideal for conducting swift raids. The Hussars also encouraged personnel to dine together regardless of rank or branch of service, prompting a high re-enlistment rate. To burn us out. I'm sure that there were sound strategic reasons for Aus Davion to want St. Lawrence, but it sure felt personal to me. Long story short, one of their scouts managed to slip through our perimeter and hit my mech bay. I was tinkering around in Centurion's custom-made rumble seat at the time. Being surrounded by all that armor is the only reason I made it out alive. An optional secondary passenger seat that can be built into the control area of a battle mech. Rumble seats are positioned away from all control system and ejection equipment. Those who ride in them have no control over the mechs itself and are utterly at the mercy of the mech warrior in the cockpit. Ugh. Still, I didn't make it out unscathed. I lost 2 of my favorite assistants in my own right arm, and I've got this ugly thing grafted into me as a reminder. Wow. Why'd you leave the Capellan Confederation? After my tour of duty was up, you mean? I don't know. It was just time for a change. Besides, the place wasn't for me anymore. In a way, it never really was. I learned a lot from my time in the service. Got a first-hand view of the elitist bullshit that saturates Capellan culture. How it rewards highborn idiots at the common people's expense. Speaking as a thoroughly common man, that didn't sit right with me. When my tour was over, I walked away and never looked back. For what it's worth, I'm glad that you walked away. You brought my mech back from the brink more than once. Heh. Way more than once, if memory serves. Still, I appreciate the kind words, and for what it's worth, I'm happy to be here with this crew. Going carry military would have been an enormous mistake. You'll never really get away from the aristocracy, Yang. Hell, I was born noble. Yeah, but you're a competent noble, and you aren't afraid to get your hands dirty. At the end of the day, that's all I really care about. I wonder how many times I watched talented engineers get passed over for promotion so some idiot with a title could advance. Too many to count. In your position, I would have done the same. Yeah. Let's. This has been a fun trip down memory lane, but I'm sure that we've both got more important things to worry about. That's fine.
Talk to you later.
Let's talk with Samir.
Can I be of service, Commander?
Hey, Commander, something I can do for you. Does the decision we made about uncertified contracts satisfy your concerns? My concerns won't be satisfied until our creditors have been paid and the loan sharks are off our backs, but this is a step in the right direction, and that makes me happy. I'm not blind to the risk that uncertified contracts entail, by the way. I mean, I know that what we're doing is dangerous, but it's best chance we've got to dig ourselves out of this hole. I'm collecting stories about the crew. Tell me something about yourself. Well, I'm from a noble family like you. We're old money. Made a fortune out in Razalge. A minor interstellar state conquered 700 years ago by the Draconis Combine, now officially known as the Razalge Military District. Oh. So we're the same... We're from the same... we're the same place. Then repatriated to the Taurian Concordat. That's where I grew up. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if this is the kind of stuff you were hoping to hear, but we can talk about whatever. I'm not shy. Okay. Where in the Concordat are you from? I grew up on New Vandenberg. It's a nice enough place, I suppose. Do you like birds? Why do you ask? Because New Vandenberg is crawling with them. It's basically one big aviary. Something like 2/3 of the native fauna has feathers, flutters on the wind, and splatters in its excrements across every available surface. Naturally, the original colonists adopted the feathery little monsters into the culture, and those of us that came after were kind of stuck with it. Statues, fountains, murals, you name it. Just a giant feathery pile of screeching alien birds. If the system had a motto, it'd be squawk. Cute. Maybe if I hadn't grown up with it. Where'd you learn to pilot a leopard anyway? The Taurian Naval Institute on New Vandenberg, well among other places, it's a big campus. The low-gravity training station orbiting Lompoc was my second home for a time. TNI flight training isn't usually open to civilians, but my parents had good credit back then, and they could name drop Protector Calderon. That'll get you pretty far in the Concordat for a while anyway. The other cadets in my class weren't especially happy sharing air with a civvy, but they couldn't say much. I was nobility and they weren't. Everyone sort of kept me at arm's length, so I had plenty of time to concentrate on my studies. I got my certification in both dropship and jumpship operations in 4 years. I even tried working on a commercial jump crew for a while, once upon a time. The people were fun, but it wasn't for me. The ratio of flying to violent jump sicknesses skewed hard in the wrong direction. What can you tell me about House Mayer? That's her family's house. You're looking at it. My parents are both gone. Blood, cancer, and heart disease, respectively. Both treatable, but they were out of money at that point, so into the ground they went. Ditto my brother David, who ran off to serve in the Third Succession War and never came back. Yeah, no stranger to loss myself. Yeah, I'm sure you're not. Nobody is, really. It's a rough galaxy. David was 13 years older than me and had a foot out the door before I turned 3. And my parents, well, they raised me by proxy in the traditional noble fashion. There was no real bond there, even when I was young. None of this is to say that my folks were bad people. They weren't. They were just doing what they knew. Their upbringings had been outsourced just like mine was. Anyway, that's all I got to say about my family. They're gone. I'm here. The end. So, got another question or should we get back to our duties? Your family came from Razalge? It was a long time ago, but yeah. As my parents told it, we were landowners on pomme de terre. It's an agricultural world, sort of the breadbasket of the Dragonist combined. Dude, pomme de terre? Is that a planet? Yeah, it means potato. Yeah, and yes, I know that pomme de terre means potato. My ancestors came from the planet potato. It took some time for me to accept that, but hey, here we are. Ah! Oh, this is great. I love it. Anyway, moving on. House Mayor's holdings were meager, but the value of that land was astronomical. For minor nobility, we were really very wealthy. And then the Third Succession War broke out, and the political rhetoric got ugly. House Mayor didn't want a single part of what was happening, so my ancestors emptied their accounts and ran. As a rule, House Kurita takes a really dim views of nobles who cut and run. Words like traitor and defector start getting thrown around. In the Combine, you really don't want to be on the receiving end of allegations like that. I wouldn't be standing here today if House Calderon hadn't granted my ancestors asylum in the Concordat. In all likelihood, House Mayor would have been wiped out before I was even born. Yeah, it's pretty much what happened to me too. Okay, sure, we'll go back. Let's take a look at the contracts we have. Asset retrieval. Our operative on Bellerophon recovered a functional piece of SLDF technology, but before they could deliver it to us, they were captured by Canopian forces. We need a team to assault the location they're being held, recover the technology, and escape. I'm guessing the technology is some broken piece of scrap, but the planetary government is willing to pay to recover it. We go in, get out before they even know what it hit them. It's a desert. It's half a skull. The desert biome is a rocky, windswept wasteland with little vegetation and little water. The extreme heat makes it more difficult for mechs to sink heat. Fields of crystalline mineral deposits interfere with targeting systems, making it harder to shoot into them, as well as to shoot out of them. Your objective is to reach a specific region, pick up the recovery target, and then move to an escape region. The unit that picks up the recovery target will be attacked by enemy forces and thus should be able to withstand some punishment. Moving quickly to the escape region is critical, whereas defeating any defending unit is not required to complete the contract. It includes travel to Bellerophon, and that takes 12 days. Negotiate? We've heard you've a competent mercenary. We've been having some trouble lately, and if you could resolve it for us, we'll ensure you're paid well. If not, so be it. We need the money, guys. $77,000 would bring us to $1 million, which would buy us some more time. But barely. It would probably buy us like a month. But we'd have no salvage whatsoever. Well, actually, this buys us a mount too. Yeah, we'll do that. It's fine. I want to see the star map first before we go. Curious. Okay, this is where we are. This is the travel contract, and then we have these locations. Detroit and Alloway. Yorkroon is a frozen wasteland, but geothermal vents create temperate zones in which the planet's few inhabitants live and mine the plentiful mineral resources. And the active faction in this region were the Free Worlds League, the Magistracy of Canopus, and the government that is on this planet. Whereas this, recently liberated from mercenaries and religious fanatics, lightly inhabited Bellerophon is arid and inhospitable, and conflicts over limited agricultural resources are common. Oh, it's going to cost me 30,000? Oh, but there's a contract available, and it includes the movement, right? If I go into the contract, this contract includes travel to Bellerophon. Okay, so it's included in the price. Yeah, fine.
Roger that, Commander.
Whatever, guys. Let's try it out.
Job's done, Commander.
All work orders complete, Commander. The crew is ready for the next job. Awesome. Travel the system. The session will break your current contract. Your reputation with the employer. Oh, no. That's so cool. I like this system. You just hitch your ride on that thing and just goes. Shakedown. You're on the Leopard's Bridge with Samir, Yang, and Darius for the daily staff briefing. Darius says we're receiving 3 messages from the banks. Loan sharks, Samir cuts in. From the people who are financing us, Darius continues. They're considering rewriting the terms of our loan so it would be easier to seize this ship if we miss a payment. As usual, they're only doing this because they believe we can fight it in the court. Educate the banks about their mistake. I'll deal with it, you say. Later you record a response. In it, you sternly remind your lion holders that as financial institutions operating on Detroit 3rd, they must abide by local contract law. You even cite the relevant sections of legal code from memory. Then you point out that as you've kept records of all payments and correspondence concerning the loans, you will be able to demonstrate in court that their proposed revisions to the agreed upon terms would represent such a gross violation of the law that you would undoubtedly be awarded a second dropship at the bank's expense. Once the camera is off, Shamir says there's no way to push you on this. Too bad. I like to see loan sharks grovel. Your company has gained the following tags. Loan status fair. The company's credit is currently rated as fair by the banks financing the Leopard, which should at least deter them from sending bounty hunters after you. Good lord, man. That's rough. Save the game. Saved. And we're going to call it the day for now. Oh no, Super Vid! No, I'm leaving, bro. I'm done. It's 10:30. I got to go to bed. I'm working tomorrow morning. Oh, man. My apologies, dude. My apologies. And my apologies to everybody joining us from Supervid. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much. But I gotta go. I'm working tomorrow morning. I gotta get some rest. I'm going to be streaming this again tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll get like some actual action. I've been reading a lot today because I'm learning the game, but tomorrow we'll be rolling in it. We'll be doing missions after missions. We'll be fighting and stuff. It's going to be great. So yeah, guys, tomorrow streaming this at 6:30, and then Thursday. Yeah, Thursday we're going back to Pillars. So if you guys are looking for more Pillars, that's going to be Thursday. I love your faces, guys. You've been amazing. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I really do appreciate it. I know most of you have probably been playing or planning to play Pillars 2, so I really appreciate you stopping by from that game and just saying hi and you know, just hanging out. Yeah, it was great. So, yeah. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic day tomorrow, and a good night. And I will be hosting somebody else. Just hang tight. Who is streaming and what right now? Let's just give it a shot. Who is streaming at the moment? A lot of people are streaming. You know what? I've not talked to Lenthius in such a long time. We're going to give him some love. So here he is. Drop by, say hi, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.